and welcome to our May edition of Sports Highlights, May 2024. My name is Greg Bickaveris. Glad you're with us for our monthly program since February of 1992. Available on Cox Cable on Mondays at 7 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m., weekends at 9 a.m., also on Verizon Fios 17, on YouTube, all over social media, as well as our great social media pages. It's a pleasure to lead off with our two guests today, Shakia Murdock and Jamie Gunderson. Let's lead off with Shakia. She is the head girls volleyball coach at Passage Middle School, soon to be at Denby High School.
Yes, sir.
And you went to Heritage.
Yes, I did go to Heritage.
So you got all the Newport news covered.
Yes, I do, actually. I was in the band in Heritage. I played softball for a couple of years and 1 year basketball there.
Well, how did you get involved in volleyball?
Well, I've always liked it. I took a course at Thomas Nelson when they were doing like the beach volleyball, and I was going to try out for Norfolk State, but I chickened out. So I didn't, but I've always loved the sport. So when the opportunity came for me to coach, I definitely went ahead and took that opportunity, and I've been in that position ever since.
It's a fast-moving sport too, and it really doesn't matter. As we saw, we did the championships, that you don't have, it doesn't matter what size or how tall you are.
Sometimes it does.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes
the taller
the better,
yeah.
Actually. But sometimes it could be a disadvantage
Sure.
if you have to get a little bit lower. But I would say sometimes it's harder for the shorter people in the front.
Yeah.
When they get to the front row, since they have to jump and or block, they have to know how to jump when they're in the front.
Yeah, I mean, it was in a variety of sizes out there, but I got to give them a lot of credit for their heart.
Oh, yes.
Because their heart makes them taller.
It does.
Yeah.
When you see kids put in 100%,
yeah,
it shows on the court.
Yeah, it's maxed effort, maxed energy, you know, that type of thing. Have that desire to win. Because those rallies, I tell you, Shakia, they can last.
Oh, yes, they can. And when they win the rally, it's a celebration on the court. So I love to see it. I love to see their progression and the things that they feel like maybe they were weaker on. And when they do start making their weaknesses strengths, it really does show, and it makes them happy. Right.
We've had a pleasure to do the championships the last several years, and it takes a lot to get to that final round. And there's a lot of good girls teams out there, you know, whether it's Booker T or Gildersleeve or Passage. There's a lot of good girls teams out there.
Yes, there is. Gildersleeve always gives us a run for our money. Sometimes we have to see how it is when we get a new group of girls, see how they compete against Gildersleeve. Booker T, that was a really good game that day. We went against them. We won that game. The lights went out. We were still willing to play. So it's very eventful when we do have teams that challenge us.
And just like tennis, serving is a huge deal in volleyball. Because that starts the point.
Yes.
Elaborate about that.
Well, we want the girls to have good formation, posture, and follow through when they do serve. Sometimes when you see the girls serving overhand, the serve goes over a little bit faster. When you see them serving overhand, sometimes we just kind of want to make sure they get the ball over the net. And it's good practice for them, because you can serve low and high when you do overhand, but you have to know how to, underhand, but you have to know how to do it. But we try to progress into overhand eventually, because it's a faster paced serve, and sometimes it's harder for the receiving team to give back to the other team.
We're talking to Shakia Murdock. She's the head girls volleyball coach at Passage Middle School on our May edition of Sports Highlights. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, wonderful spring, and congratulations to all the college graduates in the month of May, high school for the month of June. And really, everybody's position matters, because there's 6 people out in the court usually, and if somebody's having a bad day physically or mentally, their posture is not correct, it can affect the whole point.
It can. So what I do is I check in with my team. I feel like mental health is very important, especially when you play a sport. And I do try to check in with them before the game starts, while we're practicing, and just on a regular basis. Like if we're practicing, I'm just like, sometimes girls are emotional, and we have multiple children that cry during practices, but if I check in with them, it gives me the opportunity to see, okay, whose head is in the game and who's not, who needs some more motivation, and who maybe be able to, on the team, show their support to their teammate at that time. So I really do, I want to say, I take it very seriously how they are feeling before they go out there on the court, because it will show.
Yeah, because you want to do a mental reset before they play, because practice is a long day. A game day is even longer.
Yes.
Because you got to travel.
It is. And sometimes if we have an away game, we have to make and the bus is late. We've been practicing for that whole time after school, waiting till the bus gets there. Then we still have to get there, unpack everything, and then practice again before the game starts. So it could be taxing, but I feel like a good coach knows her players or his players in that sense to know how to function with their team.
And they have to keep their energy up. That energy is so important in volleyball.
Yes. It's funny that you say that, because sometimes we do team meetings and we try to see what the girls need, and we'll sit in a circle sometimes and talk, and I'm just like, so what do you girls need? And we notice that sometimes their energy was a little low, so we make sure that we provide snacks. Myself and Miss Campbell, Miss Lawton, we would come together, we would make sure that the girls had snacks, whatever they wanted. We try to do healthy things. We cut them up strawberries sometimes.
Anything,
Rice Krispie treats, whatever they wanted, fruit snacks. Just when we would give them like more than one snack, because they would be low on energy. They've been at school all day.
Yeah.
They get the little snack, and that's fine, but then they're still hungry. So we made sure that their energy was up, and we give them Gatorade. Yeah. Sometimes before.
And it gives them an edge or a boost. They have to have it.
It does. Sometimes the sugar does that for them.
Yeah, I always tell people too to drink water or Gatorade, because you can dehydrate even when you're not thirsty.
And that was a concern of ours too. We always made sure the girls were hydrated. We would tell them throughout the day, please make sure you drink your water. We would refill water bottles before we would start the game. During practice, we would sit and watch, and we would let them know, like, hey, make sure you take a break before we go out there. Make sure you drink some water.
Right, and you're a natural cook. Let's give yourself some credit. Your dad was a cook.
Yes, he was.
And I know you can cook pretty much anything and bake.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can make snacks too.
Yes, I could make snacks, but it was taxing on time.
Right.
So we just bought them from Sam's.
Right, that's a lot easier too. We're talking to Shakia Murdock, head girls volleyball coach at Passage. What about when you were at Heritage? How was your experience there?
It was pretty good. You know, I mean, me being on the shorter side was challenging sometimes, but overall, I think that my high school career was really good. I was in the band, marching band, and I was in symphonic band. I did do media there, and I was an athlete there as well. So it was a high school dream, some people would say.
But you moved on and you've done even better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
We always got to evolve a little bit too.
Yes.
And you talk about that too. And the band is a lot of discipline. I mean, they're out there practicing in the summer. They're wearing uniforms a lot of times during game day, and they're asked to do so much. But I think really music starts at a young age, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I've always loved music. And when I got to middle school, I asked to be in the band. So I started playing alto saxophone in middle school. And then I went on ahead and went to high school and played in the band there. But when we were doing like practices during the summer, yes, it was hot. We had to make sure we were hydrated because people would black out.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and of course it's different dynamic in the summer and the fall and the winter too.
Especially on the blacktop. We weren't in grass. We were in the blazing sun during the summer.
Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. One time we were doing a basketball game at Warwick High School, and the person there had us play in the band in the basketball gym, and talk about loud echoes.
Yes.
It's much better outdoors.
Yeah, it is.
But of course, it's nicer indoors too as well. Talking to Shakia Murdock, what advice would you have to somebody that wants to play middle school or high school volleyball, and what about the challenge at Denby now?
Well, the advice I would give is to be patient, let your foundation build. Things will happen over time. They will form over time. You said earlier that volleyball is a fast-paced sport, but it's also about patience as well. So when you come to a challenge, work on it.
Yeah, because you're going to get roadblocks along the way.
Yes, of course. But we always want to make our weaknesses strengths. I feel like that's very important.
Yeah. And also bookkeeping is very important too
Yes,
for
it
you
is.
because you're a bookkeeper. You get your books straight, it helps you with your volleyball too, right?
Yeah, sometimes it does when we have to buy things.
Well, talk about what you do full time there.
Well, full time, I'm the bookkeeper at Passage. I manage all of the funds and finances. I plan the events there. I try to do my best to make sure all the supplies are ordered and everybody has what they need.
Yeah, very good, very good. And you know, once you're a bridge to high schools, so a lot of these girls will go to different high schools. You know, and some of the girls that you'll see, are you going to coach the girls' Denby team?
Yes, sir.
So you've probably seen a lot of those young ladies already.
Yes, Passage is a feeder school for Denby, and I don't know how many are going. I think maybe one or two, because you know sometimes they spread out and they're in different districts for zoning. Some might go to Woodside, some might be in the tag program and go to Warwick. So we'll have a couple of girls on the volleyball team, but sometimes they have girls already there that we can utilize as well.
What about summer camps or volleyball clinics or different refreshers the girls can do?
Right, we'll definitely do conditioning during the summer. When we're able to open, I believe it might be later in July.
Yeah.
So we will be able to do that, and we're going to make sure that we put them to work.
Yeah, because volleyball is a sport you can play when you're elderly as well.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Have you ever tried beach volleyball yourself?
Yes.
That's not easy with footwork.
It's not, but you have to have. It's all about endurance and strength.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, it is when you're running in the sand, you feel like you have to put in more effort because the sand feels like it's grabbing you down. Yes.
And of course, your boys volleyball coach helped us broadcast the championships, and we had him on Sports Highlights. Jesse.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about what your thoughts are with his style.
Oh, well, I feel like his coaching style is a little bit more laid back than mine. I know that he kind of just goes with the flow, and sometimes that's good for the boys, especially boys, when they can figure out their own things sometimes, and you tell them what to do. Hey, do this. Hey, do that, and they change it up. So I do think that he's a good coach. He's so mellow and cool.
But you can read the girls' eyes pretty well, so you can tell exactly what they're feeling before they probably even say two words to you.
Yes, and I will pull them to the side and have a conversation with them to see if they're okay, because I know that sometimes girls need a little bit more emotional support.
Yeah.
And I do try to give that to them.
Very good. You're an excellent person to do that for as well. Shakia Murdock, head girls volleyball coach at Passage Middle School, and the new girls varsity Denby coach. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank our guest, Shakia Murdock, the head girls volleyball coach at Passage Middle School, and also the Denby girls varsity coach. Thank you. Very good. Stay tuned for Jamie Gunderson, the head women's soccer coach at CNU, right here on the May edition of Sports Highlights.
You're watching NNPS TV. Catch sports highlights on Mondays at 7, 2, and 7, and on Saturdays and Sundays at 9 a.m. Visit us online at nnpstv.com to view all your favorite episodes. NNPS TV, watching education happen.
Hi, I'm Ethan Flinkenbeard, and I'm a student in the NNPS Telecommunications program. Enrolling in telecom has helped me expand my knowledge and skills in filming and broadcasting. I've learned skills such as camera operation, editing, directing, Take One, studio operation, and live remote production. I'm also a paid intern, working various sporting events, school board meetings, conferences, and talk shows. And I'm so thankful for the opportunities that telecom has provided me with to help me get my career off the ground.
And welcome to our May edition of Sports Highlights right here on NNPS TV. Glad you're with us. Greg Bicaveras and our great guest. We had Shakia Murdock from Passage Middle School and Denby High School. We switch gears to another person that went to Denby High School, Jamie Gunderson, who's the head women's soccer coach at CNU right down the street. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Very good. How did you get involved in soccer?
I started when I was very young, got involved in the rec league here in Newport News around like 5, then into a local club, and then just took off from there.
Yeah, it's funny, we all grew up, football, basketball, baseball, soccer was like, a great niche sport. But now it's on the even page, especially with the World Cup. There's so many different soccer leagues.
Yeah, it's taken off. And
yeah.
When I was growing up, again, it was still in the early stages of just growing. Mm-hmm. My parents didn't really know anything about soccer, and they put us in all the sports in the rec leagues and things like that. So I did basketball, I did baseball and soccer, and just fell in love with it. And then here I am today being a head coach and at a great university.
Yes, you are at a great university. And of course, you talk about the love of soccer with the World Cup and the Olympics before we talk about CNU. The background noise watching it in Europe or the Middle East or the United States, the fan engagement is unbelievable.
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
So if you ever get a chance to go check out a professional game, you definitely should.
I actually had a chance in 2013 to go work the Gold Cup here in Baltimore. That was something like I've never experienced.
Yeah.
The United States was in it, but it's always the other team that seems to bring a lot of noise too.
Yeah, we're catching up as a country with just the game itself and the culture behind it, and but we're getting there.
Yeah, because like Mexico and Europe, that's always been number one, and then here it's always football or basketball or baseball. Well, let's talk about CNU's soccer team. Of course, you primarily play in the fall, but there are some spring workouts and games right now.
Yeah, so again, it's kind of the non-traditional season is what we call it, and mainly really focus on just the development of the team from the fall and, getting them prepared going away in the summer, which then ultimately gets them prepared to come back in the fall.
Well, let's talk about it. You got to recruit. You always, you're a Division III school, but you got a lot of great academics, athletics, and activities there. You got a great athletic director. What is your thoughts about the Newport News high school soccer, Hampton schools, York County, Peninsula? Because you got a pretty good, Williamsburg is known for their soccer.
Yeah, I mean, the 757 as a whole, it always has produced really good athletes, and for soccer as well. So again, around the area, it's Virginia Beach, Williamsburg, Newport News here and there, but York County too, same kind of thing. It depends on the high school and the group they have.
Yeah, exactly. How much they started at a young age.
Exactly.
It kind of goes from there. Well, let's talk about some of the different positions on a soccer field for the novice. Let's the goalie and the forward are two of the positions you always hear about.
Yeah, the keeper, again, that's kind of the last line of defense. There's the box that you have on the field, and they can pick the ball up in the box.
Yeah.
While the forward's on the opposite end of the field trying to score on the goalie. So those are kind of the two kind of, I guess, probably most talked about positions because they are the one to score the goal or to deny the goal.
Yeah, you got to wonder about that, Jamie. I find that fascinating too. Is how many kids wake up in the morning when they're a teenager and say, "I want to be a goalie." Now, soccer is such a moving sport. You're always running up and down. You're getting a workout, but a goalie is pretty stationary, except when it's strike time.
Yeah. It takes a special person to be a goalkeeper, to have that kind of pressure on themselves and to be that last line, and they're always kind of a different personality too. Right,
they're kind of isolated. They're kind of in their own world, and it's like once the action goes toward there, that can go for hockey as well. Yeah. But hockey's a lot more fast-paced. Are there parallels with hockey and soccer?
A little bit, just the angles and just the dynamics of how shots come off, like the stick or the foot. Again, it comes down to angles and positioning yourself in the right place to be able to make the big-time saves.
And you've had a lot of national awards there. Talk about some of the accolades. Some of the girls have stood out.
Yeah, no, again, we've been really fortunate. So this is my 3rd year as the head coach there. Won a national championship in 21. Elite 8 the past 2 seasons, but we've had a number of All-Americans throughout the 3 years within the team. So again, that's kind of what we strive to accomplish each year, and the goals we set and the standards we've kind of set for the program.
Do you try to keep the girls there for 4 years?
Yeah.
Is that the goal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, you look at the Division I sports with the name, image, likeness, and transfer portal. It's like there's no loyalty, it seems like, at that level.
Yeah, that's a different ball game.
Yeah.
And I thought about kind of going down that route, and I kind of want to see where it goes first, to then decide where this all goes, kind of thing. But for us, I mean, ultimately the student athletes coming to us to play for the love of the game, because can't offer scholarship money or anything like that. They can get an NIL if they want, but it's not going to be like the D1s.
Right. It's nothing like grassroots soccer. You're learning at a young age. You play in middle school. You play in Pee Wee. Talk about some of the different places kids can play before they get to high school or college.
Yeah, so it's kind of the route I took, I would say. It's like they're rec leagues around in probably whatever city you're from. And then there's more advanced after that, kind of getting to the club, the travel soccer. And then from there, during the summer, there's kind of semi-professional teams or / college teams that are keeping up with their fitness during the summer that, again, will ultimately lead you into kind of that next step, which is college.
Right. There's great soccer camps all around the peninsula and south side.
Yeah, for sure. We have a youth camp. Our boys team has a youth camp. ODU has, I know they have youth camps too. So there's tons of options. Virginia Wesleyan too, they have a ton of options too. So they're out there.
What was special about that championship team you had a few years ago?
Yeah, that's a great question. The leadership, I think, within that team, that was kind of the first year after the COVID year that we had 2 of the kids stay, and just their desire and will to win kind of carried the rest of the group to kind of fight and win that national championship.
Your place is active. You got the Lions Bridge there. Talk about them. We've done some interviews out there with them before. They're a unique bunch.
Yeah, no, Lions Bridge I think has been great for the community. I've been involved from when it started playing, and then the past year I kind of got on the coaching side. I'm going to be in the coaching side this summer coming, and I think it's great for the community.
Yeah. Gives them something to do during the summer. Does Kyle have to sign off on that? Your president, who signs off on them playing at your place?
Yeah, it's Kyle and the president.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, again, contract and talks with Lions Bridge and then kind of sort out that. I don't really deal with that side of things, but yeah, it's.
But you're a bridge there, Yep,
exactly.
Yeah, and of course the fireworks, everybody can hear those. Not just on July 4th either. They can definitely hear them. We're having a little fun here talking to Jamie Gunderson, head women's soccer coach at CNU. I got to be remiss to say, Jamie's father's a neighbor of my former tennis coach and the first ever guest on Sports Highlights, Marvin Hedgepath, and Marvin's a former tennis coach at Menchville and Ferguson, and of course he's now at HRA. Marvin's a longtime coach and friend of the family too.
Yep. Marvin's been in the neighborhood for kind of ever since I can remember, to be honest. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So soccer ball, I've always been intrigued by the soccer ball. We don't talk enough about it because it used to be when we were kids, it was just the white ball with the little black dots. Now it's colorful. The World Cup is so neat. It really is a call to action. Also makes you really want to go out there and play yourself. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Again, I get the ball again has evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Each year, the World Cup, they create a brand new ball for it. But no, there's a lot of, again, excitement to it because it is pretty difficult to score. So when you do score, again, that's where the excitement and stuff comes from.
We'll talk about Messi. Tell the fans who he is if they don't know who he is.
Yeah, if you haven't had a chance to watch him, he's amazing. And now he's in the United States playing in the MLS. But yeah, he's kind of evolved the game in a sense that, again, just the excitement behind it.
Why has he evolved the game?
Just the creativity and how he does things, because his movement is just so good, even though he doesn't move that much. So it's kind of funny how, like, you think you got to keep moving all the time.
Yeah.
But it's just finding spots and spaces, and then when he gets it, he's just magnificent on the ball.
There's a lot of him on YouTube, and back in the day it was Pele. You can still see those YouTube matches are unbelievable. Great asset. NNPS Telecom on YouTube as well. So YouTube is just unbelievable because you can learn how to play soccer just from an instructional standpoint. Nothing beats going out there and playing, but it's got a lot of good videos.
Yeah, for sure. There's a ton of good individual activities that again anybody can go watch and then go do it themselves on the field. So it's a great resource.
Talk about your coaching staff.
Yeah, so I'm full-time, the head coach at CNU, and then my assistant, Sean Killian, and then we have a part-time position as well, Brian Liebert, and then we have a volunteer, Abby Harrigan.
What about the men's team? Do you work hand in hand with them sometimes?
Kind of. I mean, we train at the same time, so sharing the field space and what that looks like. But really close relationship with the men's side for sure.
I'm going to ask because people are going to ask me, do you ever play them in a full match just to see what would happen?
Yeah, no, we don't.
Okay.
We kind of joke. Sometimes we've kind of started creating an idea of like doing some activities together just to create the relationship piece between the two groups. We've had male practice players before, but nothing with the varsity team.
Well, let's talk about the upcoming fall season. What are you expecting? Talk about the schedule that you've got, and who's some of the players you're looking to lean on.
Yeah, again, looking forward to this fall. We returned 9 of our 11 starters from last season, so hopefully we can make another big run into the NCAA tournament. You know, we have Rihanna Slater, who is one of our All-Americans from last year, so she's returning. And then a couple of our all-region players, Ellie Cox, Hannah Heaton, Bree was also another one, and then our goalkeeper, Amy Sidaway. And then, you know, Nia Savage is one that didn't get the awards, but she's another big one that's returning as well. But again, a good group of players returning and looking to make another deep run into the NCAA tournament.
Very nice. As we're wrapping up here with Jamie Gunderson, Jamie, give us advice for those that want to play soccer, even the older people, because there's a lot of leagues too. Yeah,
there's a ton of adult leagues around the area too. So again, it's searching on probably Google to see whatever area you're in and searching for that adult league. But again, I would start young, kind of getting involved in the rec side of things and see if you like it, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, it's nice to see, you know, sometimes in York County and Killen Creek, they're having pickup soccer games. I love seeing that. You know, it really brings the community together. And of course, there's a lot of fun on game day too, for you guys.
Yeah, no, game days are fantastic.
Yeah.
Our players look forward to it. You know, we train day in and day out against each other. They're ready to go play somebody else for sure.
Very good. All the best this spring and the fall.
Appreciate it.
Very good. Jamie Gunderson, head women's soccer coach at CNU, has won a national championship, has made the postseason. He looks forward to the rest of this season and the fall of 24 as well. I want to thank our great guest today, Shakia Murdock, head girls volleyball coach at Passage Middle School. Also, Jamie Gunderson, head women's soccer coach at CNU. Two great local guests. One went to Heritage, one went to Denby. For Ray Price, his entire crew, thanks for watching our May show. Don't forget the Newport News Greek Festival, May 30th to June 2nd. I'm Greg Bicaveras. We'll talk to you soon.